You're lying.
Are we supposed to start talking now?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. We are here first month of the year 2020, and we were just talking about how we did do a full 12 member makes last year. So if any of you are new to member make, you should go check some of those out. We had some really amazing flowers that we created last
Lots
year.
of good ones.
Yeah, we did. Just so you know, our microphone isn't working today for some reason. Maybe it's because I don't know why. Anyhow, so we're using the laptop for a microphone. So let us know if you cannot hear us, so we can try and adjust things and speak up a bit. We'll do our best. We put the computer over by Megan because she talks quietly.
I'll try and talk louder.
And she'll be teaching us today how to make this Satsuma branch. I'm super excited. Okay. So make sure you tell us where you're watching from. We had some snow last night. So Anna is at home with her kids, but we actually have Kate here with us today. So she'll be calling out any of your questions. And if you have any questions, make sure and you use capital Q so that she can grab those really quickly and ask us the questions while we're making this. And what else are we supposed to talk about? We have a giveaway today.
Giveaways, yeah.
Yes, and tell us where you're from. So we have a giveaway today, and our question is: did we decide on a question for them to answer? Oh yes, okay. So February, we've decided we're coining it as Craft Love Month. You're going to be seeing more about that. It's a lot of fun. So we want to know from you as we prepare for our February lineup of amazing crafts. What is your favorite craft, and what is your favorite material to craft with? That's actually the question. What is your favorite material to craft with? And you don't get any extra points by saying crepe paper. Or should we give them extra points? I'm not sure. Anyway.
Give them an extra entry.
we have a lot of different materials. So the giveaway today is we're giving this pack of the Secret Garden so that you can get ready for spring. And then we have this wonderful needle nose plier and wire cutter, which for me, I can't have enough of these. I like to have at least a dozen sitting around.
We use them for like every project.
We do pretty much everything. So we'll be giving this away at the end today. So go ahead and put your answers in, and yes, we'll be looking for a winner. Shall we get started?
Yeah, let's get going.
Okay, let us know if there's any questions that people throw out. You can just shout out or...
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And remind me if I forgot to say something.
All right, so everyone, I hope you all printed out your template for today. Just pay attention to your grain lines and per usual.
And for those of you who are new, which some of you might be, I think we do have some new people, we're really specific about grain lines, especially for leaves. As you can see, the grain line goes at an angle, which makes this beautiful, sort of more realistic leaf. Oh, here.
Yeah.
Should we get that in focus?
V.
There we go.
The V leaf.
Yes. So that's why we talk about grain lines a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And so we had to pre-make a lot of our leaves today because we're going to be Mod Podging almost everything. And so we don't have time to wait and let that dry on camera. So we have a lot pre-made, but we'll sit here with you and make a couple so you get it down. And today we're using this this binding wire. So it comes in a roll, which is great because you get so much more wire than when you're buying floral wire. And this is a 26 gauge. So it's like super...
It's really soft.
Soft and bendy, and it's great for putting between leaves because it's flat. So we're going to use this for our leaves today.
And to know, we haven't used this wire a lot in projects, but if you go and look at some of the plants that Megan has made, she started using this with plants and just really fell in love with it. Yeah. We're looking at carrying this in our shop at some point because it does make a really great alternative wire, and it's so affordable.
Yeah, it's super affordable. So we're going to cut off a few pieces of this. This wire is also so thin, you can totally cut it with your scissors.
Should we talk about the other materials really quick too?
Sure.
All right, so we're just using pretty simple. We have, for our flowers, we have the white, and then we have the chiffon, and this one I believe is mango for the Satsuma.
Mango.
And then we have our double-sided green for the leaves, which is our favorite. And by the way, you guys, this is coming in singles now.
It is in singles, yeah.
So you can get these. Yeah, this is the color we use the most, so we decided that needed to be a single. So that's all. Then the wire and the Mod Podge
Yep, and then we're
And some
gonna
glue.
yep. We're gonna use our tacky glue, which
Oh,
we
I forgot about
love.
the foam ball.
Mod Podge, and then we're using, for our Satsumas, we're using a 2-inch foam ball.
So we don't love foam. We're trying to get away from foam, but the foam works the best for this
Yes,
project.
it does. I tried using cotton balls for it, or like the cotton paper. Spun balls, not cotton balls for it, and they were too smooth. You couldn't get like the nice texture.
Right. So you can see, these were sitting on our craft table, and there were probably multiple times where people, where people came by thinking that they could grab a little afternoon snack.
Yes.
So they look so real,
Very
especially
realistic.
with all the spots. And the way you shaped them was perfect.
Yeah.
You put some little dents in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna make a couple leaves real quick.
Okay. We love our leaves.
Yep. And these, if you pre-cut everything beforehand, these are so quick to make.
So we're going to just put some glue on one side there?
Yep. So with this wire, you can't stick it into
your
glue, which is a bummer, but
the glue works pretty nicely. It's a really thick glue that we're using nowadays. We're using the Fast Grab, which is a bit thicker than the original.
Alright, so I'm going to place my wire down on it, and I'm going to put a little bit more glue on top of my wire, since this wire is a little thicker.
Thicker meaning wider, but it's flatter. Yeah. It has a flatter finish.
Yep. And you don't have to worry too much about getting glue on these leaves, because we're going to cover them with Mod Podge.
Yep.
So it will hide any bits of glue that you get. Let's squeeze out.
And you can just really press that down and squeeze it between your fingers like you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, something that I've seen happen. I've done it, you've done it, everyone's done it. Mm-hmm. We sometimes get our leaves flipped over the wrong way, so the V cut goes down rather than up. Yep. So just watch that. I mean, it's not the end of the world if that happens, but you want to make sure that the V, it looks like a V, not a A without a cross.
Yeah, not an A.
So just the grain line goes like that.
Yep. And then once you're done with these, you're gonna take your Mod Podge and grab a paintbrush that's fairly wide. What is this, like an inch, half-inch paintbrush, and just go ahead and brush your Mod Podge onto your leaves. And you're gonna Mod Podge both sides. So do all of one side of all of your leaves and let them dry for, I'd say, at least 30 minutes. And then you can go ahead and flip them over. The Mod Podge dries pretty quickly. Alright, and for your length, I didn't really tell you how long to cut your wire. So for your leaf wires, you're actually going to want to keep them pretty long, because we're going to be using these and wrapping them around the stem or the branch to form the branch for our Satsumas. Yes. And so I'd say this is like 8 inches, almost 12 inches. Say 8 to 12 inches.
Go ahead.
We're gonna,
don't wait for me.
Okay. We're gonna go ahead and make our Satsuma real quick, because this we're also gonna Mod Podge, so we're gonna want to let it dry before we're done. And I will sit here and actually Mod Podge this one. And so you're gonna want to make sure you have a piece of scrap paper. And so you have these little ovals that are cut out. And you're just gonna go ahead and apply Mod Podge to them. And when you're applying Mod Podge, you always want to follow the grain. And so we're just gonna put some away. And so once you Mod Podge your crepe paper, it's gonna stretch really easy, which is great for this. So it's actually going to be like really flimsy. And I'm going to just apply it, and once I stick one part down, I'm going to kind of stretch it over the ball. And then you can just smooth it out.
And you almost push it into
we're going to push it in. and be really gentle because Mod Podge makes extra fine crepe paper so delicate. It'll tear very easy.
So you really want to push it down versus move your finger across it. Because
Yeah,
that can
I'm like,
tear it.
I'm patting
Patting it.
patting it into the ball. And so we're gonna continue doing this. And you'll need about 6 of these ovals. You can really add as many as you want until you feel like it's hard enough. You're just gonna need about 2 layers of crepe paper over the entire ball to really get it a uniform color.
This is probably something that you could do with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't have kids, but if you guys have kids, you could probably do this with your kids. Maybe even, I don't know, 8, 7, 10 year olds. Yeah.
I have a really bad gauge on how.
Yeah. But it seems like it, as long as they can work with the fineness, it seems like they could.
You can also, if you only have, say, this color and are heavy, you can use the heavy crepe paper because once you stretch it out and get the Mod Podge on it, it's gonna be fairly similar in texture.
You'll just want to make sure it's stretched so you don't get any of the wrinkles, the crepe in it.
Alright. Do a couple more.
I'm just watching. I'm just watching her. This is fun. Maybe I'll have a snack.
Very, yeah.
We should have brought a bowl to snack on while we were making
just a bowl of them. Let them pick out which one.
So while she's making that, I'm going to tell you guys, Anna and I are going to Amsterdam on Tuesday. We're going to spend a couple of days there to do some trend watching and exploring. So we thought if any of you know any great places to eat or see, send us a note and let us know. You can go ahead and do it in the comments there. Let us know if you have any recommendations of places that we need to go. I've been there, it's been a few years, so I'm really excited to go see a museum or go look at some art, and of course walking down the canal to just get inspired by being in a different country. So, and then we're going to Germany after that, where the big trade show is happening. And I'm so excited, our monthly video, we're going to do it a couple days later because of how our flight's coming back. In February, our monthly video, we're going to share with you guys what we found and what we're seeing over there as far as trends and, you know, colors and what else is going on with the big trade show in Germany. So make sure and come and join us for that one.
Alright, I'm putting on my last piece right now.
Okay.
So, alright, so once I'm done with this, so now it's fully covered and it's pretty uniform in color. I'm gonna actually take it and roll it between my hands, and this will smooth everything out and push it all in and
get rid of all the little edges of the paper.
It'll really just help smooth everything out. And yeah, there shouldn't be any Mod Podge anywhere, so nothing is sticking. All right, so once I've done that, I'm gonna form the shape that I want it to be in. And so Satsuma, so there's a little dent kind of in the top and the bottom of each. So if you'll see this, and I actually just used my finger and I just held it like this and just pushed both sides in. And then I took my paintbrush and I kind of just push it in a little bit more, do the same to the bottom. And again, be really gentle because we don't want to rip the crepe paper. And now I'm gonna oranges aren't perfect. They're not smooth or anything. So I'm just gonna kind of push into the sides
Give it some
of
dents.
it. Just give it a few dents, make it not so perfectly round. And there you go. And then once you're to this point, you're gonna cover the entire thing in Mod Podge, and you're gonna sit and let it dry for 20 minutes
Okay.
before you touch it again.
All right.
And so we have 2 that are already done.
Okay.
And so I'm going to show you how to add some of the details to it. And so they have little, I don't know what you call them, the stems.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh, that's
I have
mine.
one. That's yours. They have little stems. But it's like the little, you know what I mean? At the bottom of it. Underneath it.
Oh, right
Yeah.
here. Okay. So it's
Forgot what
like
they're
the
called.
it's like the belly button.
Yeah. I don't know what they're called, but we're gonna use our brown wire to
Maybe
make
somebody
that.
up there knows what they're
Yeah.
called. Let us know.
I'm gonna take just a small
Any
piece
orange
of the brown wire and I'm gonna roll it into a little ball with my
Now,
pliers.
this is after it's been Mod Podge.
This is
Okay.
after it's been Mod Podge, so we've already Mod Podged it. I'm gonna cut it. And you're just going to use your hot glue
Mhm.
and do a little dot. Go ahead and set it on and just push it into the foam so it really looks like it's sitting in it.
I think we have a question over there.
Yes. Any floral recommendations, project recommendations for 9 to 10-year-old children? It would be on the simpler side.
Yes.
Beginning.
I would say, are we talking crepe paper? Yeah.
It says flowers, so
Flowers? Okay. I think crepe paper. I'm thinking really quick, which is some of our easiest. You need this here.
Are
I'm
easy?
gonna let you
Oh
go.
no, you're fine. I
Okay.
just thought I had 2 pairs, so I was
Well, there's
wondering
one, but
where
it's
they
in a
went.
package. It's okay.
Sorry, I think
So
there's
Megan,
one
remind
there.
me, what would you say? I think
Our easier flowers
yeah,
are?
I think anemone is
Yeah,
really
that's
good.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Is the anemone is probably one of our
Easier.
simpler crepe
Uh-huh.
paper flowers.
And we have a few different versions of the anemone. We
Mhm.
have a really simple one,
Mhm.
and then there's one that takes a little bit more work.
Yeah.
But either of those are good. I would say any blooming branch is
Yeah.
a good idea. There's your
Pretty
wire
good?
cutter.
Oh,
Yep,
thanks.
I'm good to go.
Perfect. And so after you've put the little belly button on, we're gonna poke a hole in the top, in the middle of your top dent. Just use your scissors or anything, just a little hole. And we are gonna take another piece of the wire, make sure it's about 8 inches long again, and we're gonna fold it in half. Yes, and we're gonna twist it.
Megan, is the Mod Podge glossy or matte?
We are using matte. You can also use glossy. I personally don't think the matte and the glossy are much different.
They look pretty much the
Yeah, I
same.
think they are, because the matte is still glossy.
Yeah.
So I don't see a huge difference
Yeah.
when I use them.
Yeah, another idea on easy starter projects for kids. I would definitely check out our book because our book is specifically for beginners, and you can go through and find probably a good handful of projects there.
And so next you're gonna put the tip of your glue gun into that little hole you just made and squirt just a little bit of glue in there. And then you're gonna push your stem that you just made, that you twisted, down into the hole. So now you have a little stem. Alright.
Okay, that one's ready.
Perfect. So now those are done, and we're gonna start working on our flowers.
You know
now.
what I'm gonna do is Mod
Sure.
Podge for you while you're working on the
That
flowers.
one? Okay.
Yep, and the leaves.
Oh, and the extra leaves.
Might as well.
Okay. There you go. All right, so on our flowers, we're also just gonna put our flowers on this brown wire as well. Since we aren't using any floral tape today, we want to keep it more uniform. So you have these little rectangles that are for your stamen, and you're going to take your little scissors and we're going to fringe those. Make sure you don't fringe all the way down, so you don't want to cut any off. Great. And after you've fringed them, you're going to take them between your fingers and kind of roll them. And this is going to make them look a little more natural and not so straight. We're going to use our tacky glue and apply that to the bottom of our fringe. And then go ahead and take another about 8-inch piece of that brown binding wire. And we're just gonna twist this on. Go ahead and glue it onto the tip. Just like that. All right, and I cannot remember what the name of this piece is. I think it says it on here. Maybe not.
What are you?
These
The one that
called,
wraps around?
like the flute? It's not the
Yeah, I
flute.
think it
though.
is. It's
Kind of
something
the
like
flute.
that. Mhm.
Alright, so there's a little triangle piece. And we're gonna go ahead and stretch that between your fingers very gently. And we're gonna apply some tacky glue to one of the diagonal edges. Alright. And we're gonna go ahead and glue the other diagonal edge onto that piece. So we're gonna kind of roll it around. This is, I wish you guys could see my fingers right now, but
Everyone loves your nails.
everyone loves my nails. Alright, so you're gonna roll it around so it turns into this little like trumpet shape. Looks like a little tiny funnel. And if you don't get the top edges completely even, that's okay. You're just gonna cut off the little extra bit. And now we're gonna go ahead and take our stem that we already have our stamen on, and you're actually gonna apply a little bit of glue around that stamen piece, and we're gonna slide this wire down through the middle. I'm gonna slide it up on, and then just go ahead and glue it. It's just like this. Can you see? Oh. My hand is like the same color.
That looks pretty good. Yeah.
There you go. All right, and
That's a lot of detail.
Huh?
That's a lot of detail.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we didn't fold it enough.
Okay.
That's okay. All right, and after we've done that bit, we're gonna take our petals, and you'll have 5 petals per flower. And we're gonna go ahead and cup each of our little petals, and these are really tiny, so just be really gentle and make sure you're not overstretching and ripping them.
Thank you. I'll show them the wrinkled leaves in a minute. While
Okay.
she's stretching those, I want to show these. This is what happens when you put Mod Podge on the leaves, is they start to get really wrinkly, and I wish they would stay that way. I cried when I noted that they just actually flatten out, but don't let that surprise you. Once they dry, they will flatten out again.
Mm-hmm.
Just FYI, fun little note.
All right. After you've cupped your leaves, we're gonna start adding them around our stamen. So you're gonna add a little bit of tacky glue to the base of your leaf. And when we go to glue it on here, you're just gonna glue it even with the bottom of that flute. Just apply your flowers just evenly around. And so we're gonna let these flowers dry just a little bit before we start messing with the petals and pulling them out, since tacky glue takes a bit longer to dry than hot glue would take. So I'm gonna set this to the side for a little bit, and we're gonna work on our branch piece. So you're gonna take one of your 18 gauge floral wires, and could you pass me the binding wire?
Yes.
Thank you. And we're gonna go ahead and take, yes, a few pieces of the binding wire, and you're gonna cut, I'd say, about foot long pieces. Go ahead and cut a few to start out with. And I'm actually gonna cut this wire down so it's only about a foot long instead of the full 18 inches. Alright, and we're gonna wrap our 18 gauge wire with the brown wire. So you're just gonna start almost like it's floral tape, just cover it. Just gonna twist it. And it doesn't, you don't have to cover the whole thing perfectly in the first go, because we're just going to go ahead and add another piece over it, and it will slowly get covered as we're working. So, and then you can, once you get to one end, you can kind of just start working your way back the other way. And we're going to take another piece. Did we have some more questions? No?
I think some folks are curious if either of you have 2020 craft resolutions that you would like to share.
Oh.
Craft
That's-
resolutions.
Not revolutions. Resolutions.
I do. I actually plan to go find another pottery class
Yeah.
this spring.
Yeah.
That was so fun. Megan and
It
I
was
took
fun.
pottery class together last spring about this, well, I think it was like February, March.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun.
It
I
was
want to do
fun.
it again. And I have this idea of creating all these little tiny containers, these little pots, and then making my own DIY candles. as
Yeah.
gifts. Little beeswax candles.
Mhm. That's fun. I really enjoy doing pottery.
I do too.
All right. So after you've covered your wire a bit, we can start adding on our other pieces. I'm actually gonna take our oranges and we're gonna add some leaves to them. So, actually, sorry, we're gonna stop real quick. We're gonna shape our leaves.
Okay.
I forgot about that step. So once your leaves are dried, you wanna make sure they're fully dried. Maybe give them like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Or this is something I'd recommend maybe doing at night, and then the next day you can
Mhm.
continue working
Especially
on it.
if you're doing both sides.
Yeah,
Mhm.
especially if you're doing both sides. And so we're just gonna stretch each side of the leaf a little bit and just make it look more like a leaf so it's not flat. So it's has some shape to it.
I'm really glad the camera's on your nails today, not mine.
Mine. They're okay. They're not getting close enough. You can't see the chips. And there's a small leaf and a large leaf here. And so we're gonna add the small leaves onto the oranges.
And how many? do you?
I added about 2 to each
Okay.
orange. Right, so let me go ahead and do this. So you're gonna take one of your shaped leaves in your orange, and you're just gonna kind of set the leaf where you want it to be. I'm gonna put this one down closer to the orange. And then you're just gonna twist the remainder wire up, and this is gonna start making your branch.
So, Satsuma oranges, we were just doing
Mhm.
some research on this. Actually, with the leaves on them, correct me, Kate, on this, because you were the one reading it.
Mm.
With the leaves on the branch is a good luck symbol.
Abundance and good fortune.
Good luck, okay,
Yeah.
abundance and good fortune. Close.
Very good luck.
So what a beautiful gift to give someone.
Yes.
You know, at the beginning of the year, or when they, a housewarming gift. This is just such a great little branch that you can add to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Esther in the chat mentioned she's going to use these to celebrate Chinese New Year.
I love
which is
that.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good. I have this sitting on my mantle right now, and I'm excited to have 2 of them
Yeah.
in the vase together. Yeah.
And so when you're done with one, it's gonna look just about like this. And we're gonna go ahead and set that aside, and she's gonna keep working on the other one.
Oh, okay. I was doing it
And-
way too even. You don't have to do it even. You're just flipping it on.
Oh yeah, you just totally
Okay.
here. Will you get a close up of this branch? So my like twisting is not pretty or perfect. It's just go ahead and twist up. It makes it look kind of viney and fun and just more
Okay.
like a branch does.
Bumpy and
Yeah.
even.
And so this is super quick wrapping. Like don't think twice about like what
like
you're
it.
doing.
Megan, a question came
Yeah.
in on the crepe paper. You mentioned you could use heavy crepe paper.
If that's what you have,
Okay.
if you don't have any of it, I'd recommend buying the extra fine. But if you have, all you have is heavy crepe paper, you can use
Mhm.
heavy crepe paper for this. Just when you're covering the oranges, be sure you're stretching it all the way out before you apply it to the orange.
To get
or
rid
to
of
your
the
foam
grain.
ball. Yeah,
Mhm.
because we don't want to see
You
the
could,
grain.
you could use tissue paper for this too.
Yes, you
if
can also
wanted
use
to.
tissue paper,
Mhm.
which I believe we've used before.
We
We've done
have.
oranges before,
Mhm.
and we did tissue paper. But this mango color is just
It's spot on.
so perfect.
Yeah.
It's the exact color we want. All right, and so now we're gonna take our 18 gauge wire that we've wrapped a little bit, and I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap.
This goes into that, so I'm giving it to you.
Go ahead and start wrapping your orange around the end of your wire, just like that. And I'm gonna take the other one, and I'm gonna wrap this one right at the end of the wire to kind of disguise that. Alright, so now we have our oranges on. And we will add a third orange to this eventually. It's
Mhm.
just we need to wait for this one we have going to dry. And so now we're gonna go ahead and start adding some leaves to the branch to make it a little fuller. And you're just gonna go ahead and start from where the oranges are. And I might like add a couple more leaves to this one.
And the more wire you add onto the branch, the thicker it gets,
Yes.
the stronger it becomes. So it's just really natural.
Yeah.
almost
And you
like a
can
tree.
also, you can use the wire to cover up the ends of other pieces of wire as you're working, if they're kind of sticking out. I'll just keep wrapping. And this part is a little time consuming. It does.
So some of them you're putting the base of the leaf right up against the stem, and some of them you're giving some space.
Yeah. So just be really organic with it. Just, I mean, some leaves grow right off the branch.
Mhm.
Some of them have a longer stem. And just have fun. And you can, once you add them on, you can move them around as much as you want. So don't think too hard about placement and making it look
Right.
perfect because branches are not perfect.
That's fine. And I noticed on the branch here that we have, you did leave stem, so you're not putting leaves all the way down the branch.
Yeah.
You're keeping them
Yeah,
the
you
top.
want to leave stem so that
at
we
the base.
can
Yeah.
you
Put
can
'em in a
throw it in a container and not have to squish any of your leaves that you just made. Uh-oh, getting stuck on my sweater.
I could see this being really beautiful for a centerpiece for a dinner,
Yeah.
where you have these kind of draping different directions. Maybe have a real edible one.
Yeah.
With a leaf sitting on
Have
it.
some of them. I love that. Like in the winter, I'll buy just the Satsuma oranges that are still on the branches, just to have it in a bowl.
To look at them. The leaves dry out
Just
quickly,
kinda eat
so
them.
in this case, the leaves will always stay pretty.
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but the photos that we put up on the site, you can probably spot a few real Satsumas in the mix. We threw them in there. I had them in my kitchen, and we threw them in there. So see if you can spot them. Yeah. They really do look very similar. That's so beautiful.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, I love the way it's coming together. Like you said, really organic.
Yeah, it's fun. And then once you've added all your leaves, we're gonna add on the flowers. Very last, because you want to kind of get your leaves where you want them, and then you can see where you can put your flowers so that you'll be able to see them. The leaves aren't hiding them. And then as I'm going, I'm just kind of moving the leaves around so that they very nicely. And then when I add that other orange, I'm probably gonna add it right here, just off the branch. Yeah. Yep. I'll probably add it right there. Alright, so let's add on some flowers. So we still have a whole pile of leaves here. You can keep working down your branch and make it as bushy as you want. I would probably
Make a
add,
third if you want to.
yeah, make a third one. I'd probably add some more leaves so there's some leaves like hanging down on the underside, because right now all our leaves are on top. You can even like pull some of the leaves from the top so they come down. Yeah. And then we're gonna grab our flowers. And so we're actually gonna cut the wire off of our flowers. We're not gonna use that. I'm actually gonna add the flowers. You could either wrap the flowers on, or you can attach them with hot glue. I attached mine with hot glue because I wanted them to stay where they were.
Wire cutters.
Wire cutters.
Megan! They all have the same color handles.
Yes, they do. They all look very similar. Right.
I love how you place this one right at the base.
So like that's why I cut it off, because I'm gonna place one of my flowers like right at the base of my orange, because I like the contrast of the white right up against that orange. Okay. So I'm gonna cut off just a little bit more.
Just to make it flatter on the end.
It's a little soggy still.
Might want to let it dry a little bit longer, but that's what we have. Is that unplugged?
I think it might have come unplugged.
Okay, this one should be good to go.
Cool.
Quick question.
Yes.
While you're plugging back in. Desert bluebells, that really vibrant blue. There was a question as to whether that color would be available at some point, or if there's a way to tint white crepe paper to make the bluebells. Any ideas there?
Yes, I would recommend, so we don't have a crepe paper that's that color and extra fine, which is probably what you would want to use for that type of flower. So I would recommend getting the Design Master, what is it called? Color tint it, or color tint just for flowers. And they have it in a variety of different shades of blue, so you can get the exact color you want. And you would just take a piece of crepe paper and color the entire thing front and back.
Yep.
with the color you want.
Yeah. And this is spray paint that's made for flowers, actual live flowers.
Yeah.
So it's actually a really nice spray paint. Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and
It's pretty soggy too.
That's okay.
The other thing too, when you're doing this Mod Podge, it's really great to use wax paper or a baking paper so that your glue doesn't stick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So your Mod Podge doesn't stick.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Or a silicone
this
mat works
one.
too.
Yeah, the silicone mats for like hot glue guns that you get are really good for doing Mod Podge
Podge.
on. I'm gonna put this one here. And I like adding the flowers right at the base of where a leaf connects to the other branch.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks a little more natural. I'm not just gonna add it randomly in the middle. Yeah.
And again, on this branch here, I'll scooch it over. You
Mm-hmm.
put two together clustered,
Yeah.
and that just looks so beautiful.
Yep.
And very organic. So there we have it.
Yeah. It's pretty easy.
That's pretty
It's
easy.
not. It's a little time consuming. It's different. It's a lot different than making just a crepe paper flower.
Right. I think the
So,
Mod Podge
yeah.
drying time is what's time
Yeah.
consuming. But I can imagine having a very large arrangement,
Mhm.
or even adding it in with other flowers. It's such a
Yeah.
perfect
Mhm.
add-in for doing a flower arrangement. Or it would just be beautiful in a bridal bouquet.
It would just like kind of hanging down
Mhm.
in
It
the
would.
front.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. So, do we have a winner for our?
Yeah.
We do. Our winner is Gabby De La Cruz Ochoa. I think I'm saying that right.
Okay, it's Gabby. Gabby, you won. So
Yay.
make sure and you can talk to Kate over here and get your address, and we'll
Mhm.
mail that to you.
If she can email it to hello.
Oh, email it to
Leah
hello@leahgriffith.com, and we'll make sure and get that shipped out to you today.
Yeah.
So congratulations. And we wanted to talk about next month.
Mhm.
So our February, we've decided we're going to do a ranunculus,
Mhm.
which is extremely time consuming and beautiful, but it's so worth it. It's a lot of circle cutting.
Yeah.
I
Lots
think,
of petals.
yeah, we have
layering.
simpler versions that we've put less petals on just to get the basic form, but I think
Mhm.
this time we are going to do a gradated, so it's a different color in the middle and it moves to a color in the outer petals,
Mhm.
and it will have quite a few petals. So be prepared. Maybe
Be
we'll make sure.
ready.
Yeah, we'll have this all out to you ahead of time, so you
Mhm.
can cut your pieces and maybe even stretch your pieces. There is a technique though for stretching that I wanted
Yeah.
to talk about to really get the cup as
Leah's
best.
the master at ranunculus.
Okay, so I guess I'll be
this is
teaching
gonna.
this
She's
class.
gonna be
I
teaching the
know.
next one.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for Megan because she does such beautiful work and she knows crepe paper so well. And you know, I've just been so busy doing other things around the company that she's been developing these gorgeous things. So
Mhm.
give her hands, yay Megan! She's amazing. But yes, ranunculus next month, and again, we'll get those out to you early. Again, we're loving having you engaged early on this so that you can be ready and we can do a little make along during our video.
Yeah.
So yes, we have another question
A
or a
few
thought.
Last minute questions.
Yes.
Shaping the leaves. Did you shape them before or after Mod Podging?
I shaped them after they had dried, so
Completely.
yes, make sure they're dried completely before you stretch them. Otherwise, you risk ripping the crepe paper.
And also, I think if you tried to shape them before, the Mod Podge would flatten it out.
Yeah.
Because it kind of, as you can see, as it wrinkles. With the Mod Podge, this isn't quite all the way dry yet. Can you see that? There we go.
There we go.
You can see it starting to flatten. But if you had stretched it ahead of time, it would actually re-shrink it
Yeah.
to its original creping. So,
And one last
great
question.
question. That was a great
Mhm.
question.
Yeah, because people are still in progress. How
Yeah.
do you get the colors so even on the oranges? Some people are not finding it
So
as even.
that is the trick that comes with doing multiple layers of the paper. You're not going to get the color exactly even because the crepe's going to overlay in more places and not as much in others.
And that's realistic for
Yeah.
a Satsuma. They're not
And
completely, yeah.
once you do that method of rolling it between the hands, that helps even it out a little bit more. And then once you apply the Mod Podge, that also assists because Mod Podge will actually take some of the dye out of the crepe paper.
It does.
So
Yeah. And
that
even
helps.
it out.
Yeah, it helps
kinda
even
evens
it out a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't perfectly even,
Yeah.
and I think going back now, we could even apply a few more layers.
Yeah. I would just make sure, so I said use 6 circles, you may need more than that.
Mhm.
I would suggest using more than that if you haven't covered the entire orange at least twice. So, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
That's it for now.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. We're so excited to see what you guys make. Make sure and use hashtag member make. I have to remember all
Yes.
these. Too many hashtags. But you can also use hashtag made with Leah. We'll always see those as well.
Yep.
And we can't wait to see what you